Hi, I'm Izzy. Welcome back to the Gleeson First Time Buyer podcast. Thanks to everyone who tuned into our first season, where we had some amazing guests join us discussing everything from interior tips to finance advice. In season 2, we've got loads coming up, including more interviews with our brand ambassadors, tips and tricks for choosing your options. In today's episode, we're up in Gateshead with two of our fabulous brand ambassadors, Hannah and Karl, who are here to chat about their home buying journey and why they decided to buy a new build home over an older renovation project, and why owning a home is better than renting. So welcome to the podcast, guys. Thanks for joining us and letting us record in your home. If you want to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Right, so my name's Hannah. I've been a brand ambassador just under a year now, I think. I live in a 3-bedroom detached Kildare, originally from Manchester, and I moved to Gateshead around 8 years ago. And I've got a little dog called George. I live here with obviously my dog George and my partner Sam. And yeah, that's me.
What about you, Karl?
So I'm Karl. I've been a brand ambassador now for just over a year, I think it is. So I live in Sunderland in a Tyrone, semi-detached, and I live there with my partner, fiance Mark. Ooh. And our dog Dawson. And we've been in our Tyrone for just over 3 years now.
Nice. So how does it compare living in your own home compared to your previous situations?
So I was renting previously. Me and Mark had been in our previous rented home for about just over 5 years. So we were saving to get a mortgage for a couple of years prior. But it just makes a huge difference for us because it's obviously a lot cheaper. And yeah, we just love the home ownership.
Yeah. What was if you don't mind saying it, what was the kind of price difference between renting and owning a Gleeson home with a mortgage?
So monthly it's about £250 just on the rent, and then all of the other bills are a lot cheaper as well.
Wow.
So it's made a huge difference.
Yeah. What about you, Hannah? What was your...
So this is my first home. So prior to this, I lived with Sam's parents for 5 years, which was great, and they treated me just as their own. Yeah. But having your own space is just so much better.
Yeah.
I've got the freedom to do what you want, decorate how you want. It's been amazing. We've been here coming up to 18 months now, maybe just over 18 months. But yeah, it's been amazing. I absolutely love it.
It is. So we're filming in your house at the moment, and the interior is just gorgeous. How would you describe your interior style in your home?
So I think myself and Karl are quite similar. Yeah, we are. We like the monochrome style. Yeah. And what I loved about moving into my Gleeson home is that it was a blank canvas and it was all readily painted for me. And what was great about that was, although my house is still very white, I didn't have to come in and do anything. So I like to add colour by accessorising rather than painting walls and things like that, because then I'm so indecisive. Yeah. So I like to change things all of the time. So it's easy enough to change a cushion or change a picture than it is to repaint a whole wall. So that's one of the main things for me. And I think that's the same throughout my whole house. If you have a look on my Instagram, you'll see that most of the rooms are quite minimalistic. I like no clutter, basically. I like everything really
less
simplistic.
Is more.
Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, I agree. Mine's exactly the same. Like same with the monochrome. I think I'll probably have a bit more black, where yours is more neutral. But yeah, exactly the same for me. I just liked the fact that it was a brand new canvas when we moved in. I could do exactly what I wanted. Yep. I wanted to change my style from what I had with rented. I really wanted to change it up, and I'd been liking the minimalistic style of it. So again, exactly the same as you. I'd not really one for paint and bright colours and everything on walls. I wanted it really like neutral, minimalistic. And actually, a couple of walls I painted black, which I never ever thought I would paint black on any walls. But it's turned out really well, and it's a good statement. And I'm the same with all of my accessories. I love changing up my accessories. And you can do that, and it can make a room completely different. But I would never have ever been able to do that if I was in rented and not moved into my Gleeson home. So that's one again extra that I just absolutely love about it.
Definitely. I think it ties into my next question of why when you were looking for your home did you go for a new build over potentially an old build? So obviously the renovation, but was there any benefits maybe with the bills, or what other benefits did you find with buying a new build over a potential renovation project?
So I think with me, one of the biggest things is bills. Everything from gas and electricity, council tax, everything for us is a lot lower than what we were in rented one. But I think again, with just having that blank canvas style of it, and really being able to do what we wanted to do straight away, not have it where your house is upside down, you're doing a renovation, you've got all that additional cost on top. So ripping out kitchens, bathrooms, flooring up, and then finding work that you didn't know about. So I hear horror stories of people having to do like different plumbing and all that extra expense. I just love the fact that we didn't have to worry about any of that. We come in and we just built up from literally a canvas right up to where we are now. And that was one of the biggest selling points for me. We didn't even look at second hand kind of houses, renos. We just looked straight at going in for a new build.
I always feel like it sounds like such a good idea of like, oh yeah, I'm going to go into a house and I'm going to paint the walls and I'm going to put, and then like when you're actually into it, you're like, I can't be bothered. And I feel like that is what's good with the Gleeson home, is like you can, like you said, with the minimalistic, you can just personalise it and buy, which everyone loves going and buying.
Absolutely.
Home bargains and B&M and all those.
Very dangerous.
Spending all the money in there. I think I just want to echo what Karl said. So although that I never, this is my first home, I didn't rent anywhere before, the fact that myself and Sam can still afford to live our lives, go on a holiday, enjoy nights out because of how affordable it is to own a new home. We didn't, when we first moved in, we both had full-time jobs and we always looked at different new build developments. So we made that decision initially to say that we want a new build. We just had to pick the right one for us. And what's great about it is that we could come in and we could do anything. Although we didn't have to rip things out, we could still make it our own and do whatever we wanted to it. And my Kildare will be nothing like somebody else's Kildare, and you can do whatever you want with it and make it completely your own, which is amazing.
Definitely. And so you mentioned that you went and saw other new build developers. What made you choose Gleeson over other new build developers?
So I've always been completely honest with this, and the main thing for me was affordability. Gleeson is just so much more affordable than the majority of other new build companies. And the location of this house is great. Sam's family live 10 minutes up the road, which is amazing. Another thing for me was that although all the house types with Gleeson are so different, so it was nice to see the different house types, but with my job I work from home, so I needed to have that space to be able to set up my office so that I had that space to work, but then also have additional bedrooms so that because my family still live in Manchester, they can come up and they can stay with me whenever they want. So that's definitely what sold the Kildare for me.
And this development, because this is the first time I've been to this development, it is literally just off the motorway as well. And I've found that with a couple of developments that I have been to, is like we've said, when you do go back down to Manchester, it's literally you just hop straight on the motorway.
It's so accessible.
Easy. It is so easy. So we've spoke about how older homes can be a little bit more pricey to run. Have you noticed that your home is more energy efficient? I know in the news at the moment there's quite a lot about energy bills rising. How has that kind of affected your living situation?
For us, we've again from moving from our rented into this property, it's even things when we come to put the heating on in the winter, we don't have to have it on long at all, and then the house is warm. We can put the heating on at different levels depending on where we're at in the house, so that alone has made it so much better. For us, we've huge difference in our energy bills, and so much so that actually a lot of our friends, when we talk about everything that's going on about energy costs, and a lot of our friends actually can't believe how much we still less we pay to even them, even with the increases, and it just makes such a difference. And I think it goes back to what you were saying, Hannah, them extra money to have aside still enables us to do what we want to do and not have to have that worry of these excessive extra bills that other people are sadly having. So I think that side of the new build is just, again, another thing that I just absolutely love.
Yeah, definitely. So we've touched on it a little bit, but do you want to talk us through what optional extras you went with when buying your Gleeson home?
Yeah, so I think I'm the same as you. I went for the extra on the bathroom, so the high tiles, all the shower and everything fitted in above the bath.
I just realised I was playing footsie with you.
And we gone for the extras in the kitchen. So we wanted to have the style of cupboards that we wanted, cabinet cupboards that we wanted, worktops. And in the garden, again, we upgraded, got all of our turf and everything done from that side of it. So adding all them extras to us, again, it just made that extra personal touch, because we got to choose exactly what we wanted. And I think for us, it just now makes us like it more unique to us. And again, I think what you were saying earlier on, like everyone's house is different, everyone chooses different options, and that's what I just love, that when we chose ours.
Definitely.
Yeah, the bathroom was one of the main things for me. I think with Sam doing what he does for work, we're quite lucky that he knows people that work in different trades. But tiling and plumbing wasn't one of those. So it was one thing that we were like, it was on our list straight away, and we knew that once it was done and we were in, it was something that we didn't need to worry about. And I think I always go back to the fact that obviously my family don't live close by. So when they do come and they stay with me, it's a saviour to have an ensuite bathroom with a shower and a main bathroom with a shower, because we very rarely use our main bathroom because it is just the two of us. So it's basically like a little hotel where my family come to stay because it's all for them.
So what would you say to customers who are looking at buying their first home and looking at potentially buying a new build and coming with Gleeson? What would you say to them as some advice?
Oh, I would say just take your time, one, for deciding kind of like things like location. Looking for location is a key factor, and that was the same for us. We want to be in location. And which type of house you actually want, because I think we changed our mind a couple of times. We visited a couple of show homes around where, like the northeast, and it gave us a really good feel for what we want to do, so we didn't rush into anything. And originally we didn't want the Tyrone, and then I think when we started looking, that was something we went for. So just be really open-minded and don't set yourself to something that you think that you want until you actually go and have a look and get a feel for what, like you're saying, practicalities of what type of build you want and things that you're going to be doing in your life with your family, and things like that. So just don't rush and really enjoy the time you're doing with it, because we loved it. I think we visit our show home God knows how many times. I think the sales people just, here they come again, because we're just up constantly, just want to look, we're bringing family round, just the excitement of that and picking which one that you wanted and then doing the reservation and putting that down, and that all excitement around that. So to me, it's just enjoy every moment of it, because we definitely did.
I think the sales execs love it as well. Like whenever I speak to them, whenever I say like, what's your perk of working with Gleeson Homes or anything, and they say it's getting excited with the customers about their choices and everything. I think Liv was saying the same when she was like, they must have got sick of us when we were coming round. They'd be like, it's Liv again coming round the corner. But I think they build such lovely relationships with customers as well.
We loved ours, like even when we moved in and they were still developing on ours, we're walking the dog, they'd always like be waiting for them to come out and have a chat with us, how's everything going. So that was it was brilliant, such a good experience, definitely.
I think mine was slightly different because I reserved my house just before we went into the first lockdown.
Oh, wow.
So we went in, we were reserved, and it must have been the best part of 2 weeks later, we'd gone into a lockdown. So we couldn't come and visit all the time. It just wasn't possible. But I think because of, I'm quite a hectic person. I'm a bit of a control freak, and I'll be open and honest about that. And I think because of the situation we put ourselves in, I just had to relax and I just had to let it be what it was. And it was great for us because it allowed us to save more money. But I think I'll just echo what you said. Like, just enjoy it. Like, you'll be in your house before you know it, and it's such a great experience. Our sales rep was amazing as well. She couldn't have been more helpful. Everybody was absolutely great that we dealt with. Even any problems that we'd had, any concerns, we felt comfortable going to them and letting them know about that. So, just enjoy it. Yeah.
What's the community like on your developments as well? Do you, obviously, when you move into like, I live in an apartment block, and only really know my next door neighbours. Do you get kind of like a community feel on your developments, or what's that like?
I would definitely say so. Actually, funny enough you say that, is one of our neighbours who lives opposite, Jade, it's been her 30th birthday, and she's just dropped some cake off while I was at the gym this morning. Some birthday cake. So yeah, I think that's like really good. You get to know your neighbours, you have a chat with them, you kind of get to know more about them. You follow each other on Instagram, but then you like texting each other, and when you see each other in the street, it's not just a hi. I feel like actually stop and talk. It's a totally different environment to what I've had before renting, where everyone just seemed to be always in a dash, where I think now, because everyone on the development owns their own home, they want to be so comfortable in that community that they've built. So I think it's just, to me, I've never experienced this before, and all the years that I've rented, I was the same, where I'd know one neighbour maybe, and that would be it, and I probably wouldn't even know the name. It would just be to say hello. So to us, it's been brilliant. We've loved it. And
you've all gone through like the same thing. You've all gone through the choices and like the searching through the house types, and
a couple of us moved in around the same time. And my next door neighbour, who's like attached to us, he reserved around the same time, and because I had my home account at that point still, and I was posting stuff up, and he must have searched on like the Gleeson hashtags, and we just got chatting everything and talking before we'd even moved in, and talking about like options and stuff. So we built up that before we'd even moved in. So that was really comforting to us, like moving in a new area. So it's just been brilliant.
And what about you? I know you've got a dog, which I'm like dying to also want to let out to come and play with. But
we live on a really small development. I'm not sure about the other ones, but I think there's only 60 houses here. So really small community, but it's really nice. It's really private. Everyone's really friendly. I get along with my neighbours really well. So I think because I'd never experienced renting or anything before, and living with parents, you don't really, it's always the owners of the house that speak to neighbours, but it's nice to like have conversations with your neighbours, see how they're doing, and everyone's really helpful if you need. I remember, this is a funny story, one of the first nights that we moved into our house, we had a few friends over for drinks, and we realised we didn't buy any toilet roll. So I had to go and knock on my next door neighbour's house and ask him if I could have a toilet roll. Well, it broke the ice, I suppose, and now we get along really, really well. So yeah. That's my funny story.
Lovely. And to round off, because I think the podcast is coming to an end, what is your favourite memories in your Gleeson home since you've moved in? Other than asking your neighbour for toilet roll the first couple of days.
Oh, we've got loads. I think most recently, the biggest one we've had again, because our garden's such a good size. So we had a Jubilee party. So we had it with all our friends and all our family. And that kind of memory of just having that has just been absolutely brilliant. So that's one of the most recent ones for us, but I've got, because we've been, like I said, 3 years, we've got so many just with friends and family. It's just, I'd probably be here for another 15 minutes just going through that.
Mine definitely has to be getting the dog, because I think obviously when you live with parents, it's their choice whether they have animals or not, but because I work from home, he's like the best companion to me. So like he's my little furry best friend. I love him so much, and it's the freedom to be able to say, yeah, I want to go and get a dog, and you can go out and get yourself one, because it's your house, and it's you've got that separation now where you can go and do those things. So yeah, that's definitely my best memory.
Oh, I like that memory. I'm such a dog person as well. So like Same. I could temporarily forgot on the way up that you had a dog, and literally when I came in and saw her, I was just like, yes. Love them. But anyway, that concludes our first episode of season 2. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome. It's been brilliant.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Don't forget to hit follow and subscribe to our YouTube and Spotify channels so you don't miss an episode. Tune in to our next episode, where we'll be discussing our amazing optional and extras range with 2 of our field sales managers, Daniel and Alison.